welcome you to another series in understanding the prophet and how to assess the office and their ministry. It is important that you know how to recognize who a genuine prophet is. It is important that you understand how to recognize what a genuine prophecy is, and it is important for you to understand when a particular prophecy comes right on time. A lot of people have found themselves in a whole lot of dilemma because of this lack of understanding. And this is what the prophetic voice have come to assist you over. And I believe that in this little series that I want to treat on the prophet and your faith, I believe that God will assist us greatly. All right, before I start, I am your prophetic voice, the watchman. Now, from time immemorial, God introduced himself to humanity via his word, and his word came via the prophetic avenue, the prophetic voice. Abraham was called a prophet. Enoch was called a prophet. David was called a prophet, although all these people never realized that they were prophets. It was not until later on that when they started putting down the characteristics of what makes a prophet, that they realized that they were prophets. In fact, God himself was the one who let Abimelech knew that the wife of the man that he collected was actually a prophet. Abraham never knew he was a prophet of the Lord, but he actually was God's prophet, because God will speak to the prophet as he will speak to a friend. So this series on the prophet and your faith, I would like to first and foremost begin from the book of Ezra. When they were stranded. Remember, the book of Ezra, had to do with the rebuilding of Jerusalem and the resettlement of the children of Israel via, during the reign of Darius and Cyrus. In spite of the thing that God set in place, the people were faced with a whole lot of challenges. Let me quickly digress a little. Most of the time, a lot of people think that when they are in the center of the will of God, then they are free from problems. They are free from challenges. They believe that the way in which they can determine that this is the will of God is when that will is not wrapped up or is not being confronted by challenges. But unfortunately, that is not always the case. That's not always the case. You cannot cast it on stone. Now, with all the assistance that Ezra had, with all the assistance that all those people that God used in the rebuilding and the reconstruction of Jerusalem after the Babylonian fall, yet they were confronted with so many challenges, from the time of Nehemiah down to Ezra, down to Haggai, down to even Zechariah. All of those period was culminated with different challenges. Now let me quickly, set the ball rolling. In the book of Ezra chapter 4, the Bible says, verse 23, as soon as a copy of the letter of King Artaxerxes was read to Rehum and Shimshai, the secretary and the associates, they went immediately to the Jews in Jerusalem and compelled them by force to stop their building, to stop the project they were doing. Verse 24 now told us, thus the work on the house of God in Jerusalem came to a standstill until the second year of the reign of Darius, king of Persia. Now, let's go down quickly to chapter 5 of Ezra. Now, Haggai the prophet, Zechariah the prophet, and a descendant of Iddo prophesied to the Jews in Judah and Jerusalem in the name of the God of Israel, who was over them. Then Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, and Jeshua, son of Jozadak, set to work to rebuild the house of God in Jerusalem, and the prophets of God were with them, helping them. The work was on a standstill. The king had issued a memorandum that nobody must work on that particular project. These are the people that Israel were under their sovereignty. Yet, at the voice of the prophet prophesying to them that they should begin to work, that God was with them, they defied everything that the king said and set to work because they had faith in the prophet, they had faith in their God. I am your prophetic voice, the watchman. God bless you.